Kinetic energy is energy due to the motion of an object. The equation for kinetic energy is 3 over 2 RT. The units for R are 8.31 joules per mole Kelvin, and the temperature is also measured in Kelvin.
What's potential energy?
Potential energy is the energy due to the position of an object. It is called potential energy because it has the potential to be converted into other forms of energy.
What is Hess's law? Hess's law is a law that states that energy change in an overall chemical reaction is equal to the sum of the energy changes in the individual reactions comprising it. When solving Hess's law problems, it is important that you make changes to the individual equations and that equation's delta H in order to balance and cancel elements for the reaction. For instance, when you fill up an equation, you also must multiply that reaction's delta H by -1 to flip the sign. When you multiply the coefficients of an equation, you multiply that reaction's delta H by that same number.
Listen up, y'all, cause this is it. The reaction that's producing is dangerous.
Thermochemo definition, quantities of heat. First law of thermochemo means energy is constant.
You can't create it or destroy it. I ain't endo, but I'm exo. I got heat that I'm releasing. Heat's a product that I'm producing.
Thermochemo. AP Chem. Mr. Marks on your feet like this.
Endothermic needs heat to react, so it's not just gonna happen like that because the reaction is exothermic. This reaction is endothermic.
Ooh, thermochem, thermochem. Ooh, thermochem, thermochem.
Let's review. What's the difference between endothermic and exothermic reactions? Endothermic reactions absorb heat into the system from its surroundings. Heat is considered a reactant and has a positive H value. In exothermic reactions, however, heat is released from the system, heat is considered to be a product, and H is a negative value.
Used to be in my, used to.
You used to be in my chem class when I taught you for your AP test.
Email me on Gmail, late night when you need my help.
And I know why you failed that quiz. Because you thought that temp was heat?
And I know why you failed that quiz, cause you put heat in joules.
You stupid!
Specific heat capacity is represented by letter C. Heat needed to raise the temp of 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree.
And molar heat capacity is the amount of energy for 1 mole to raise a temp to 1 degree. Getting some definition I've never seen before.
You used to be in my chem class when I taught you for your AP test.
Email me on Gmail, late night when you need my help.
Do you know what heat cap is? Energy to raise the temp.
Of an object by 1 degree, that's something in thermochemistry. Did you enjoy that song? Let's review. What's the difference between heat capacity, specific heat capacity, and molar heat capacity? Heat capacity is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of a body by 1 degree Celsius. The units for heat capacity is joules per gram Celsius. Specific heat capacity, however, is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. The units for specific heat capacity is joules per gram Celsius. Molar heat capacity is the amount of energy required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. The units for this is joules per mole Celsius. What is heat?
Heat is the energy transferred between objects that are at different temperatures. Energy is always transferred from high to low energy until thermal equilibrium is reached. The unit for heat is joules.
Q equals mc delta T is the heat transfer equation. The units for Q are joules.
Yo, enthalpy change.
Baby, that's delta H.
The quantity of heat.
Baby, that's enthalpy. Energy is the capacity to do work.
Energy causes heat flow. Mind if I know a little more?
It has capacity to do it.
I'm really sorry. What's us to worry?
But it's just your day.
What is enthalpy? Enthalpy is a combination of internal energy and the work done on or by the system. Enthalpy is equal to internal energy plus the product of pressure and volume. At a constant pressure, the change in enthalpy equals the heat gained or lost in a system, so delta H is equal to delta E. When the system changes at a constant pressure, delta H can also be written as Q. Now that we know what enthalpy is, what's standard enthalpy of formation?
Standard enthalpy of formation is the enthalpy change that accompanies the formation of 1 mole of a compound 25 degrees Celsius or 293 kelvins from its elements with all substances in their standard states at that temperature. The equation you use is delta H reaction equals the sum of the products minus the sum of the reactants. Work is a force acting over a distance. The equation you use for work would be W equals F times D. In this case, W is equal to work, F is equal to force, and D is equal to distance over which the force is exerted. The other equation you can use is W equals negative P delta V. W stands for work, P stands for pressure, and delta V stands for change in velocity.
Look at my face. Can you see it?
Yeah. I wish probably record.
You're so old. Hello.
You're better than Matt's cat. Lucky sucks. Yeah.
It's a little bit embarrassing. A little? It's weird because it's like spot on. Just pretending like hitting a tennis racket.
That was very inspirational. I get it now.
Hi, I'm Paul.